The Bhagavad Gita, or the Song of God, is often called the Bible of Hinduism. Like all the greatest sacred writings, it belongs not merely to one race or religion, but to all humanity, for it is the universal expression of religious truth, hence its enduring value not only for Indians, but for all mankind. The Ganges, Holy Mother of India, swift, pure, and mighty, a Mecca for every Hindu. To bathe in its waters is an act of inner purification. To die on its banks is to escape the bonds of rebirth. In an Indian classic, God says, "As the waters of the Ganges flow incessantly toward the ocean, so do the minds of the devoted move constantly toward me, the Supreme Being residing in every heart." In the early morning, all along the Ganges, from Rishikesh at the headwaters to Calcutta 1,500 miles below, people come to refresh their body and their spirit. Hindus believe that existence is a process of finding God within, and that man's life on earth has only one purpose, to identify himself with his eternal self and so come to intuitive knowledge of Brahman, the divine. Meditation is a primary discipline by which one reaches perfection. First, one prepares himself morally. Then comes control of the breath, or pranayama, and correct posture, or asana, for control of the body. Meditation helps control the senses and still the mind. Every ritual, symbols painted on the ground, or worship of the spirit in the tree, is directed toward this intuitive experience of the God within. Krishna, an incarnation of God, says in the Bhagavad Gita, "With the heart concentrated by yoga, viewing all things with equal regard, he beholds himself in all beings, and all beings in himself. He who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, to him I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me." From time immemorial, crowds of pilgrims from one end of India to the other have assembled at certain privileged places. The Ganges is considered the most sacred. Hardwar is one of the 7 holy cities through which it flows. Since all living things are expressions of the divine, even the fish are sacred here. One may practice the presence of God as well in the marketplace as in the temple. As the water carries the flower downstream, so every human being is carried to his destination by his own thoughts and acts. Everything that we are, everything that we have, a bed of nails or a crown of roses, we have because we have attracted it to ourselves by our thoughts and acts in this life and past lives. It's the law of our moral and spiritual being, the law of karma. When yoga is mentioned, most Westerners think of hatha yoga, the physical discipline that teaches control of the body. But there are many yogas, for yoga means yoke or union, union with God. A yogi is someone who practices yoga. Most forms of yoga involve meditation. Control of the body is taught so that one can sit in meditation for a considerable period of time without having body sensations intrude.
वार्ता भवत् समक्षे मया विधीयते शृण्वन्तु श्रीमन्तः.
Karma yoga is the way to union with God through the performance of God-dedicated action. So no matter what a person does or how menial the task, if it's done with a heart dedicated to God, he is practicing karma yoga. The Gita says, "Renounce attachment to the fruits of your work. Be even-tempered in success and failure, for it is this evenness of temper which is meant by yoga. Whoever works for me alone makes me his only goal, free from attachment and without hatred toward any creature. That man, O Prince, shall enter into me." Karma yoga is the path to union probably most satisfying to the Western world. You don't have to retire to a cloister to realize God. You can find God in the world of everyday affairs as readily as anywhere. Jnana, or the yoga of knowledge, is not merely intellectual power. It is realized experience. The teachings are passed on from generation to generation by gurus, teachers, who say that the source of all human evil is our preoccupation with the outer self. The task is to recognize our deepest self-identity as being one with Brahma, God. To sing God's praise, to love God with all your heart, that is the aim in Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of love. To adore God with every element of one's being. This is the most popular yoga. The uneducated as well as the learned, the simple as well as the wise follow this way. In this yoga, one must love God dearly. Not just say we love him, but love him in fact and for no ulterior reason. Those who meditate on me and worship me without attachment to anything else, says the Gita, those I soon lift from the ocean of death. Songs in praise of God, called bhajans, are a way of celebrating God's love. So, when assiduously practiced, and when a person centers his heart in the true self and is exempt from attachment to all desires, he is said to have attained to yoga. Hindus divide life into 4 stages. The first stage, that of the brahmacharya, is devoted to training as a child and student. The second stage is devoted to working for the world as a householder. During this period, one still continues to learn, but the primary focus is on fulfilling family responsibilities and civic duties. When the householder's children are grown and have left home, the third stage begins. In this stage, the responsibilities of home are given up, and one retreats to the forest to practice spiritual disciplines in preparation for the true life of the spirit. Very often wives accompany husbands on this journey. Having renounced all material possessions, their simple physical needs, such as food, are taken care of by local religious organizations. Orange robes are the dress of sannyasis, renunciates who have taken holy vows. Each will follow his own unique path to self-realization. The Gita says, some realize the Atman through contemplation, others philosophically, others by following the yoga of right action. Others worship God as their teachers have taught them. If any of these faithfully practice what they have learned, they will pass beyond death's power. Every devout Hindu wants to die on the banks of the Ganges, where they are cremated. There are few mourners, for the wise in heart do not mourn for those who live, nor those who die. As the Gita says, never the spirit was born. The spirit shall cease to be, never. Never was time, it was not. End and beginning are dreams. Birthless and deathless and changeless remains the spirit forever. Death has not touched it at all, dead though the house of it seems. As when one lays his worn-out robes away and takes new ones, saying, these I will wear today, so the spirit lightly puts by its garb of flesh and passes to inherit a residence afresh. practices performed at home are the only ones that are relatively obligatory. Every home has a small shrine where individual members worship daily. At the highest levels of religious thought, God is abstract, but most need to picture their gods in human form. In addition to worship at home, worship called puja is frequently held at the temple. An offering, simple, flowers usually, is customary.
पापेभ्यो रक्षन्ताम् यद्रात्र्या पापमकार्षम् मनसा वाचा हस्ताभ्याम् मध्यामदरेण शिष्णा रात्रिस्तदवरुम्पतु यत्किञ्च दुरितं मयि इदमहं वाममृतयोनौ सूर्ये ज्योतिषि जुहोमि स्वाहा.
I am the essence of the waters, the shining of the sun and moon. Om in all the Vedas, the word that is God. It is I who resound in the ether and am potent in man. I am the sacred smell of the earth, the light of the fire, the intelligence of those who understand, the vigor of the active. In the strong, I am strength unhindered by lust and the objects of craving. I am the heat of the sun, and the heat of the fire am I also, life eternal and death. I let loose the rain or withhold it. I am the cosmos revealed.
Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Suvaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Om Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat.
To see oneself in all beings, and all beings in the self, is then only a preliminary to seeing all beings in God, and God in all beings, and realizing that this cosmic vision is to see everything with God's eyes, not with one's own. Thus the individual realizes his immortal, timeless self not as an independent unit, but wholly dependent on God.
Mitram devam mitradheyanno astu anuradhan havisha vardhayantaha shatanjivema saradasya veeraha.
India is saturated with the divine. Small shrines are constant reminders of the necessity to search for that inner power by which alone one may become spiritually enriched. Unlike most other religions, individuals are frequently enshrined as saints while they're still living. Anandamai Ma, now nearly 80, has been considered an Indian saint for more than 50 years. Hinduism is not without its sectarian differences. The concrete form of Nandi, the bull, in the Shaivite temple represents Shiva's creative powers.
बड़ा बपू देखा और उसमें हम भाव दृढ़ हुआ और आपको सत्य जानकर जन्म मरण आदि को देखे देह रहे अथवा ना रहे उसका नाम स्वप्न जागृत है वह स्वप्न महाजागृत.
The miracle of Hinduism is that it recognizes that men are at many different levels in their evolution toward God and accepts each one at his level. All the incarnations of God are reverenced. Jesus, Buddha, Krishna. The Hindu recognizes more than one path to spiritual perfection. The man of action finds his God in fire, the man of feeling in the heart, the feeble-minded in the idol, but the strong in spirit find God everywhere. Power universal, mind all-pervading, I am one with thee. Gods of power, life, and mind, I greet thee in the self of the universe. We are one. I am that self am I. Seldom evangelical about the particular path one chooses to God, Hinduism has developed teachers, not preachers. Gurus willing to share their insights with others, but not asking for converts. The message is always the same. Look within. Throw open your life and mind to the universal life and mind indwelling in all things. Most people find it easier to worship God in the form of a chosen ideal. Above the picture of Jesus is that of a man now living, Satya Sai Baba, considered a saint and the most popular holy man in India. This was a conference of Sai Baba's followers on the east coast of India, held to discuss the organization and future plans of the many Sai Baba activities, schools, hospitals, help for the needy. More than 5,000 attended. Thousands more begged for entrance. People clamor to buy his picture, to put on their puja table or in their car or where they work, wherever it will serve to remind them that they too can become as he. No man develops such loving devotion without having done something extraordinary. His devotees never tire of telling of the miracles he has performed, of the people he has healed, of the lives he has saved. He is what is known in India as a realized being, a man who has reached the top of the evolutionary scale and now dedicates his entire life to helping others attain spiritual perfection. Sai Baba is considered an avatar, an incarnation of God, and when he appears, he is treated like a divine being. Baba speaks the provincial dialect. For those from other areas, there is an English translation.
And will be abusing us for our actions.
మన యొక్క మంచి చెడ్డలకు మన యొక్క ఆచరణలే కారణమని కూడాను ఇందులో స్పష్టమవుతూ ఉంటాయి.
For our good and for our bad, that our own actions are responsible is quite clear.
Sai Baba stresses following the Dharma, the path of right action. We must learn to be in the world, but not of it. Being of the world binds us to the law of karma, the law of as ye sow, so shall ye reap. A boat, he says, is meant to go into the water, but the water must not get into the boat. In the same way, we are meant to be in the world, but the world must not get into us. When Baba leaves, those who could not get in try for just a glimpse of this holy man, for even so little from someone so great, they feel, bestows a blessing. If Hinduism has a single message, it is this. Since all things are permeated by the divine, renounce all that prevents our seeing this. Renounce all egoism and all sense of separateness. Then we may perform our duties spontaneously and selflessly. Once imbued with the divine, we can fulfill the prescription of the Vedas. Renounce and then enjoy.